August 2nd, 1990. The geopolitical chessboard flips in a matter of hours.
The fourth largest army in the world crosses the border into Kuwait. The objective? Complete annexation.
Within 2 days, the Kuwaiti forces are overrun. Suddenly, a massive percentage of the global oil supply is held hostage.
The world held its breath. If Saddam Hussein pushed further south into Saudi Arabia, he'd control half the world's oil.
A line had to be drawn in the sand. Operation Desert Shield was activated.
An unprecedented coalition of 35 nations mobilized, deploying the largest concentration of military hardware since World War II.
But they weren't just preparing for a war of sheer numbers.
They were preparing to unveil a brand new era of technological warfare. And the first strike wouldn't be on the ground.
January 17, 1991. Operation Desert Storm begins. Not with a ground invasion, but with ghosts.
The F-117 Nighthawk, a geometric anomaly designed to scatter radar waves, rendering it entirely invisible to enemy screens.
The Iraqi air defense network was one of the densest on the planet. But as the first bombs fell, they were forced to fire blindly into the dark.
The coalition didn't just bomb military targets. They executed a surgical decapitation of the entire Iraqi command structure.
Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from the Persian Gulf, flying hundreds of miles purely on digital terrain matching algorithms.
Precision striking power grids and communication hubs. Within days, the fourth largest army in the world was deaf, blind, and paralyzed.
For 38 days, the coalition bombed from the sky. But wars are won on the ground. The Iraqi defense expected a frontal assault across the Kuwaiti border, but we breached the western flank instead.
Instead, General Norman Schwarzkopf executed the Hail Mary, the left hook.
They moved over 250,000 troops and thousands of armored vehicles, hundreds of miles through a desert so deep and featureless
that the Iraqi commanders considered it geographically impassable. But the coalition had a new, highly classified tool.
The Global Positioning System, a network of satellites that allowed armored columns to navigate the featureless void with pinpoint digital accuracy.
When the ground war finally launched, they drove right through a massive sandstorm, completely bypassing the heavily fortified Iraqi defenses.
It was a masterclass in strategic positioning. The opposing forces were completely encircled and outmaneuvered before they could even react to the movement.
Supported by Apache gunships utilizing thermal imaging, the coalition decimated the retreating armor.
100 hours. That is all the ground war lasted before a ceasefire was declared. One of the most decisive victories in military history.
The fires of Kuwait eventually went out. But the world that emerged from the smoke was fundamentally different.
Desert Storm was the first space-age war. It proved that in the 21st century, the most lethal weapon on the battlefield isn't a bomb, it's information.
A superpower had been tested, and a new global order was established. The era of the industrial war was over. The era of the digital war had begun.
The maps we used to know were rewritten in just 42 days.
The world is complex. Understanding it is a full-time job.
Subscribe to Omni Vibe. We have work to do.